Hello YouTube and welcome back to part 18 of our X-rated Battle Royale. And this evening, ladies and gentlemen, what better way to conclude today's activities with a bit of Black Sabbath. I'm warming my hands up to this already. I can already tell, no matter what on earth Children of the Grave turns out to be, and also we're going to just do this little bit called Embryo near the end anyway. I'm pretty sure it's only like about a minute long, so it will be maybe like a nice little intro into what's going to be next. It's also on possibly not my favourite Black Sabbath album, you would have to understand. Sabotage is just about the closest thing to I can honestly call a perfect album. But the point is that this is on Master of Reality, which, I don't know, that title, man, is just one of the best titles I've ever heard you could possibly come up with. Maybe possibly Kings of Metal, but it's up there, believe me. Now, with all that being said and done, because I know what you guys came here for, I know what I came here for, so let's just get straight to it. Children of the Grave in 3, 2, 1, and... You key there, ladies and gentlemen, that was Children of the Grave by Black Sabbath. Jesus, man. I felt friggin' like the teeth were gonna fall out of my head, or like you could literally like hear like the sirens, and like there's a massive bit of like a spider string just hanging on my ceiling there. Okay, that seems to have got it. So, that, ladies and gentlemen, was Children of the Grave. And I know sort of like a lot of like the Sabbath stuff they were trying to like experiment with in the early 70s was playing around this huge fear that the Russians were going to drop literally a nuclear winter all over the UK, and that everyone everywhere was doomed. In fact, there's one of my favourites that Sabbath have ever done is called Hand of Doom, which is on their legendary 1970 album Paranoid. It's one of the single best experiences I think you're gonna get if you're a keen fan of where metal kind of like almost originated from. And I know straight up a lot of people, at some point I will friggin' do You Really Got Me by the Kinks, which is said to have been the song that invented it all, the song that started everything. But getting back to the topic at hand, Children of the Grave. Imagine like if you were a kid in 1971 and you were literally just like, you were clamouring with your parents and had to go see the Aristocats in cinemas, or whether or not you just try to like come up with every single excuse to try and bunk off school, or you were just about to receive your fourth caning that morning, and then literally how the hell could anybody even so remotely bring anything up when just about the only things that were even talking about friggin' The Who, or I don't know, with the Kinks, or were the Sweet like around during the early 70s? I don't particularly think so, but all of a sudden the entire subject is derailed by people clamoring around saying that, have you heard the news that communications have broken down, and we literally could be expecting warnings and about in a couple of days' time, and everybody was like tuning into stuff like QED or A Guide to Armageddon or Threads, which technically they didn't come out till years later, but it has to be said, like, you could almost argue like the news was because obviously I know television and radio now was still pretty much abundant during like 1971, but everybody had to be told about this, because if you didn't know about this, either through reading the newspapers or anything like that, just what else could you do? This was on the minds and on everybody's lips and everybody's minds through all this insane part of history. And you know what? I say that part of history was insane because look at the world in 2020. Look how maniacal things have gotten. I saw on Twitter, like nearly an hour ago, that World War III was trending again because of some conflicts going on between India and China. And goodness knows what on earth is going to happen about that. All I will say about that, and I'm going to keep this relatively short, did we not learn anything from 50 years ago that we were freaking on the brink of a nuclear war? Do you really think this is like the time when, COVID-19 and things about Black Lives Matter, do you think this is really the time to start any more trouble? I know fine well this is stupid because, you know what, people are going to do this anyway, but you know what, I would hope or rely that people think that, you know what, things are bad enough, why are we making life more difficult than it needs to be? That's the shit I don't get. Which is half why Children of the Grave seems to almost like reverberate, because as bad as things are now, goodness knows what things would have been like if I was around 50 years ago. Imagine some of the shit I'd be seeing there. You could be still seeing mass racism, famine. You could see. I don't want to, I'll tell you guys. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll give you guys a little bit of a story later on about something that my mother told me about when she was in school. But I'm just gonna go through the few of the lyrics anyway, because I want to get through this, guys, through you guys' heads, just to understand. Maybe you were there, maybe you weren't, but take this from the guys in you. Giza, Iomi, Ozzy. Revolution in their minds. The children start to march. The children, like child soldiers, they are going to be brought up literally to be part of this conflict against the world in which they have to live. They have to live in it by default, and it's against... They don't want to do this. And all the hate that's in their hearts. They're tired of being pushed around and told just what to do. They'll fight the world until they've won, and love comes flowing through. Yeah. Ironic. The oxymoron on that is that men of peace will friggin' fight so that the peace could be maintained. Which, probably one of the greatest oxymorons of all time. How can you call yourself a man of peace if you want to friggin' start killing people? Because your ideologies clash, to say the least. Children of tomorrow live in the tears that fall today. Will the sunrise of tomorrow bring in peace in any way? I hate to say, I don't want to be the one to say it. I don't want to be the one to say it, Iomi, but no, I don't think it would. Must the world live in the shadow of atomic fear? Can they win the fight for peace, or will they disappear? Yeah. Although I will give credit to Sabbath, is that here's their response, their rebuttal. So you children of the world, listen to what I say. If you want a better place to live in, spread the word today. Show the world your love is still alive. You must be brave, or you children of today are children of the grave. Yeah. I'm friggin' gonna repost that somewhere. You know what? The more people realise just the insanity and the chaos of the world we're living in right now, you know what? Maybe it won't be much, but maybe we can try and make the world a better place. I mentioned this in a Queen song I did earlier today. If I didn't care, I would not be talking this much about this. If I straight up didn't care, I wouldn't be trying as hard as I would. If I didn't care, none of you guys would be seeing this video at all. And that's how I know Sabbath. That's how I know they do care, because you don't go this much into it. Nobody would have gotten involved if they didn't care. Naomi, Ward, Osborne, Butler, no one, and I mean this, nobody would have been interested. They wouldn't have gotten involved if they straight up did not want to. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, just before we go, my mother, she said this particular incident happened when she was about, I think it was she was about 7 years old or possibly 8, so this would have taken place at about 1970, 71, or wait, hang on, 7 years. So this probably would have taken place in 1970, because bear in mind my mum was born in 1963, but that's besides the point. And some of the things that my mum told me about some of the kids that went to her school, and I think it was War Bottle Primary or somewhere in West. Anyway, the point was that she would tell of kids who would go in with more holes than clothes on their backs. Kids would go to school without shoes. Kids would go to school literally eating every single thing with their hands. Hands as black underfoot as toadstools. And you have to understand, this is during the beginning of the 70s when this happened. And I don't doubt there'll be a lot of other people, probably maybe some of you guys at home who were growing up during the 70s, who could probably amass to poverty in that to that extent. So, and it probably wouldn't be any surprise to me that maybe it was true, maybe it wasn't, that quite a number of people, when they were, because there's no way that people could not have like heard about this, but it would have been interesting just to find out what exactly their response would have been to the idea of a nuclear attack. The fact that we literally, 50 years ago, people would have been in just the carnage, the devastation that would have unfolded. If that sort of thing did happen, there's absolutely no way I would be here to do this. I don't think, realistically, any of us would have been here. We literally would have just reduced the Earth to carnage, to literally just a radioactive rock revolving around the sun. Which strikes me as, you know what, a relatively interesting point I want to say about this right now. I generally don't think, despite rumours again of, you know, World War III, etc., etc., I don't think, realistically, anybody wants another world war. No, I don't think anybody would. Because, you know what, the world's economy has been wrecked. That will take, I reckon it will take nearly 75 years for the UK economy, particularly, to recover from what has happened. Because I heard my dad saying that we are now living in the single worst recession since the 18th century. Nearly 300 years. They say that the country was richer 300 years ago during the age of the Victoria, the age of like. Actually, let me just check who was like 18th century kings of England. So we would have been like they say that apparently we would have been better during the age of George the First, second to third, and who else was queen? So, we would have been better off in the days of George the First, second, third, fourth, and William the Sixth. Apparently, they're saying we would have been better off when those fellas were around. And William the actually, I just wanted to ask, William the Sixth. Then it was Queen Victoria the Second, I think. Let me just sorry guys, I literally just have to make sure, because you know I don't particularly want to get this part wrong, because you know me, I like my history a lot. So it would have been during the House of Hanover, that period of history. Let's see, House of Hanover, William the Fourth, Victoria, Edward the Seventh, the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha era, which literally just consists of William the Seventh, and the Windsor era. Just think, ladies and gentlemen, George the Fifth, Edward the Eighth, George the Sixth, Elizabeth the Second, and friggin' 300 plus years ago, George the First. They think that George the First was a better ruler of this country, because for what, I generally do not know. But it just gives you an idea. But fortunately, I am. So, the point I was just trying to like make out of all this is that is there anything that could be done about it? Am I like a child of today, a child of this age? Is there anything I could do about it? Is there anything that can be done about it? Who wants me to do anything about it? Perhaps there is, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe there is something I could do about it. Actually, I just realised something else. Release date, July 21st, 1971. Dude, you know what? I think I should. That's what I should do. I should release the X-rated Battle Royale on July 21st to celebrate 49 years of the Masters of Reality. Possibly the Masters of Metal the world over. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction video. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Children of the Grave by Black Sabbath. Please also make sure to also like and subscribe so you get any notifications when my videos come out. And I hope to see you guys again in the next reaction video. Keep safe, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye for now.